Hello BookTube, hello Tudorverse. I have a book called this week that is not quite Tudor, but not quite not at the same time. You'll see what I mean right away. First up, Malory's Morte, which is medieval. Let's face it, but it would have been well known in the Tudor era, just like it is well known to us now. It is the story of King Arthur. And the reason I say it definitely would have been known in the Tudor era was that Henry VIII's older brother was named Arthur, basically to take advantage of the mythology surrounding King Arthur and to indicate that the Tudors were bringing back this wonderful time of English dominance and chivalry and all of this wonderful stuff. So not Tudor, but really close. Although I have to admit that between this and I think it was like a couple of weeks ago or last week, I've been getting a couple of other medieval books, including Tristan and Isolde and The Song of Roland. So I've kind of got a medieval section going on. Although I also have London, Edward Rutherford's book, which is a novel, but they're all kind of mass market paperback size, so I'm not sure what collection it's going to be a part of, but it's going to have, I'm working on a shelf. Next up, the National Trust Guide to England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. This is a list, a description of all of the properties that are in the National Trust, or should I say that were in the National Trust when this book was originally published, and it was 1973, and there have been a lot more places added to it, but books like this are amazing because, and especially this one, talking not only about how the buildings were constructed, giving some of the building plans, but also some of the treasures located within the buildings. So this is the kind of reference that just, you pour through it and it just gets used. I'm really happy to have this one. Next, Gardening with Silk and Gold. It's a history of gardens in embroidery, and the Tudor section is only at the very beginning. A lot of the rest of it goes with Victorian and Stuart and other stuff, but the whole idea is, I'm going to read what the idea of the book is and then show you one of the pictures, and that is that the garden has long been a favorite source of inspiration for embroiderers, and their work reveals a record of the garden's changing style in fascinating detail, providing unique and illuminating commentary on garden history. Blah, blah, blah. This fertile exchange of ideas works in both directions, and gardeners through the ages have also drawn on embroidery for their designs, never more so than in the Elizabethan era, when patterns known as knots appeared in identical form in gardens and on contemporary dress and furnishings. And with that, I want to show you the picture that really stuck out to me, which was a picture, and I want to make sure you can get it without the glare. This is it is the cover of a prayer book that Elizabeth embroidered as a present for Henry and Catherine one year, and this is the knot garden at Burley House, and you can see how the knots basically play into each other, and the whole book is like this. There's like a lot more along those lines, talking about basically what's in fabric and what we have in terms of garden. I was about to say photographs, not photographs, but garden sketches and things like that. And this is just, this is a wonderful trove. Then we come to the not Tudor stuff. I mean, like really not Tudor stuff. English poetry of the 19th century. For those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, will remember that back in November, I was talking about National Novel Writing Month, which is, it technically doesn't exist anymore, although people are trying to bring it back. But the idea was that during the month of November, you write 1,667 words a day. And in that month, you will end up writing a total of 50,000 words, which is essentially not quite a novel, but can be, it is your first draft of a novel. And one of the points I made was that there's a concept called that I made up, words in, words out. Because one of the things I noticed after doing NaNoWriMo for about 10 years is that 2 weeks in, once you have started putting out thousands of words, you need to replenish, because you only have enough room for so many words at a single time. That's a little Arthur Conan Doyle, adjacent theory. But you really have to, if you're going to be putting out words, you need to be putting in. And I have a thing about poetry, because if you want to put out beautiful words, you have to put in beautiful words. So I'm always on the lookout for things that I can read that will allow me to put out pretty words. Little Women, which I was just happy to have. It is one of the old books. This was not the version that I had growing up, but obviously we've all had this for years and years, and I was just happy to put it on my shelf. I have, I'm starting up my collection of my 19th century female authors, and finally, just what are the odds? The Rocky Horror Show score, basically. I don't have a piano. I don't have any musical instruments here, but I found this, and I at some point I'll figure out what to do with it. It will come in handy, even if it just sits on my shelf. So that was it. I count this as a good week, and I hope your week was good too. See you next time.